Russia is struggling to cope with the growing HIV epidemic. And making matters worse is the emergence of people in the country who deny the disease even exists. Ilya Petrenko investigates.
HIV epidemic is sweeping across Russia. According to health experts, more than 1 million Russians are infected.
Almost 1 in 100 people in Russia are diagnosed HIV positive. Despite a year of increased efforts to tackle the spread of the virus, the country is on course to see annual infections pass 100,000 again, which accounts for almost 2/3 of all infections in Europe and Central Asia.
World AIDS Day saw quite a few depressing headlines in Russian, like Russia's losing the war on HIV. In most countries around the world, the number of new cases of HIV is going down. The sad truth is, here, it's going up. I went to see the country's top HIV prevention researcher to find out what was going wrong.
I'm about to enter a lab where the staff work with samples from people diagnosed with HIV and who say there is no defeating the virus without their work.
For quite a long time, 5 years, not nearly enough attention has been paid to the issue of HIV/AIDS. There has not been enough funding.
The war on HIV requires decisive action. Without it, this academic told me, the virus spreads far beyond the two main so-called risk groups, drug users and men who have sex with men.
We've lost time, that's for sure.
While health authorities were losing time, people known as AIDS denialists wasted none online, spreading fake HIV news.
On Russian social networks, in blogs and elsewhere online, AIDS denialists are clearly ahead of us, and that's really dangerous. If you refuse therapy, an early death is guaranteed.
We started looking for denialists who were willing to share their thoughts with us. Finding their social network communities, which have thousands of members, was easy, but arranging an interview required over a week. Finally, one woman who used to refuse therapy, a choice that almost cost her her life, agreed to talk on condition of anonymity. She asked to be called Yelena. The ex-AIDS denialist struggled to maintain her composure as she recalled how she was diagnosed with HIV.
Вообще что-то такое происходило, знаете, как в тумане. И такое было ощущение, что жизнь останавливается, да, то есть и здоровье, и тут еще такое сообщает, естественно, никакого будущего впереди я не видела.
Yelena's initial treatment had put her health back on track until she met a man who introduced her to the online world of AIDS denial. Vadim eventually convinced her to give up HIV treatment. Her desire to get rid of the stigma prevailed over common sense.
Я даже не могу понять, как я на это решилась. Вот сейчас я бы никогда в жизни не решилась на этот шаг. Даже помню слова врача. Она мне сказала, ты же потом приползешь к нам.
And a couple of years later, after wild ups and downs in health, she did just that, with a form of cancer.
У меня поднялась температура до 39, у меня очень сильно болел живот, я практически не могла ходить. Я поняла причину всего происходящего, я поняла, что это все из-за того, что действительно вирус есть.
А что произошло с тем человеком, который вас на это натолкнул?
Он умер тоже от лимфомы. Да, он признал, что он был неправ, он так и написал, да, что я был дурак, вот, но уже было поздно.
After several rounds of surgery, chemotherapy, and renewed HIV treatment, Yelena managed to survive. Unbelievably, she was then bullied online by the denialists for taking medicine again. But Yelena says she can put all that behind her, hoping that in a country with a worsening HIV problem, her story could help others avoid fatal mistakes. Ilya Petrenko, RT.